Migration is not a crime, says Dr. Joanne Lui. She is the international president at Doctors Without Borders. She joins me now from Geneva, Switzerland. Dr. Lui, thank you for being on the front lines of truly so many global crisis spots. But help us understand migration. Why is it not a crime?
Well, migration is not a crime because someone who is leaving for his life or for a future shouldn't be criminalized for that. Nobody leaves their country because they have the choice. They do it because it's a no choice. They leave because there's a famine. They leave because there's a political crisis. They leave because there's a war. So we should understand that it is a choice that is a choice of a last choice.
And what do we say to the overwhelming numbers, like 200 million plus people on the move? People are frightened that are at the border points saying, what do we do with this?
Well, the reality is there's 250 million people who are migration people. I belong to those people by working in Switzerland and being Canadian. But the reality is the number is smaller for the people who are fleeing like some hardship. And then we know that there's about 68 million refugees and internally displaced people in the world. This is the highest number since the World War II. And we know as well there's other type of migration like what we're seeing in Central America that we know every year 500,000 of people either from El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala or Mexico are moving towards the US.
Do you think we have the heart capacity, the compassion capacity in our free countries to handle this?
I think it's a question of political will and it's a question of as well of solidarity. But it is important that that we don't turn a blind eye to what is going on to people suffering. And this is what it's all about. It's important that we collectively understand that nobody would leave their country because they want to be floating on a dinghy on the Mediterranean Sea, or they want to be beaten or persecuted or extorted money on their way to the US. People do that because they're fleeing for their life. And I often say it's always the same. The motivation for parents, for future for their parents, for their children is unbeatable. There will be no wall tall enough to prevent a parent to look for a future for their children.
Dr. Lui, as the president of Doctors Without Borders and as a Canadian, we're very grateful for you. Thank you. You've seen the worst of humanity and the best. Thank you for your work.